Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heat Army podcast. Thank you for joining us here on this Thursday evening. It's been the week that was for Gateshead. Saturday, we took the lead through very fortunate circumstances, an awful own goal, but we'll take it. We've given enough away ourselves in the past. And then Tuesday night, of course, fell to a defeat at Chesterfield after having taken the lead again through a fantastic Greg Ollie goal. So all to talk about. And of course, Paul Blackett has left as well, transfer undisclosed fee to Spennymoor. So we'll be talking about that later on. We also have a guest from the Stevenage podcast, Matt. I've just been on his before there. He's a great crack and lovely lad. We'll be speaking to him very, very shortly. But we'll get into some of the messages. We've got some that's coming already. We've got greetings from West Peterborough supporters. Thank you very much. We've got good evening, boys. Good evening, boys, and good evening to the both of you. Well, thank you to everyone that has done that. You can do as those people have done already by commenting on the stream that you're watching on, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube. So do that and subscribe, please. It does help. We've had a lot of subscriptions coming up. And of course, if you cannot make the game on Saturday, we are providing full match commentary. But we will sound a little bit different. We are up in the press box because the BBC is coming in force and they want their table for the ISDN line. So we'll graciously move because the club make money off that, and we'll still be covering the game, but it might sound a little bit different. But nonetheless, we will be covering it, and hopefully you can join us then. Right, Mickey, let's get into the game on Saturday. I haven't got the highlights of that. I've got the highlights of the game against Chesterfield to play up in the background. But look, we started pretty well on Saturday. Mix up at the back, but we were the best performance in a while with the way things have been.
I thought, they've hit both posts in the bar, but we've had chances to win it. They haven't scored, and later on we've had Aaron Martins went clean through. I'm thinking this is a cert. And then Harris has rifled out of the bar. And that's just the way our luck's going at the minute. I thought we'd done enough to win as well in the second half. Could have went either way of the game, but I think we've done enough to win it.
I felt for Montgomery. Obviously tried to grab the ball over a crowd of people, dropped it, and there was Gudger just to turn and spin and put it in the back of the net. But a point against third top, it's not to be sniffed at. There was an improvement.
It took it before the game kicked off, wouldn't you?
Kenton Richardson was just phenomenal as well at the back. He's come back, and the defence looked a lot stronger. And long may that continue. It certainly is. Well, we move forward to Tuesday night. Of course, we both listened to this one. It wasn't the greatest listen. I know I might not be everyone's cup of tea on commentary, but this bloke was just not even telling us what was happening for Gateshead, let alone how good Ollie's
we were attacking.
Yeah.
When we were attacking, went, Gateshead's coming forward, and Ollie scored. Because we're too busy talking about Chesterfield. And
then he said it was a low shot as well in the description that he gave. And obviously we'll see the goal very shortly, but it was a beautiful placed curling shot. But Montgomery in goal again for this one, pulled off some magnificent saves. Lovely to see the lad back in the starting lineup. In my eyes, one of the best keepers in the league. Just unfortunately.
In my eyes too, to be honest, I'd said on Twitter today to Monty, keep doing what you're doing, and all the keepers I've seen play for Gateshead, he's got to be up there amongst the best of them, Davey.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic. His penalty record as well is quite good as well. But look, we went down to Chesterfield. They're riding high. They're going to be chasing and pushing Wrexham and Notts County right to the wire. We went down there. We've took the lead. Unfortunately, we only had the lead for about a minute and a half, didn't we? And then after that, it's hard to gauge off the commentary, but it seemed like we didn't get a shot off in the second half. This is the build-up to the goal, of course, for Greg Ollie's nice build-up play. As I was talking to Matt on the Stevenage podcast, I said this is how we play. We'll play from the back. Sometimes it might look a little bit negative, and then we'll open you up. But Greg, there he is, Captain Marvel, cuts in. And a low shot from the commentary. Give that one there, but a beautiful curling effort. And nice to see Greg playing with some confidence as well, because he was suspended on Saturday for collecting 5 yellows, which isn't in Greg's game, really. He's been cut a frustrated figure this year, but I think he's been heavily marked because I think they know how dangerous he is.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's also having the captaincy. I think, he's stepped up a level and things haven't been going our way. And I think Greg's obviously being the captain's getting himself more frustrated.
Yeah.
Some of the ones he's got bookings for haven't been bookings neither, but that hasn't helped. I mean,
the last two were in the referees. Yeah, I think that was the disappointing way we got them. But yeah, see if anyone was down there. I know your partner Trina was down there. It's got messages coming in here. Bet that made you sick. Oh no, to BBC, better get that gig. Evening, thank you very much, Taylor. How he's put. Hopefully, no one is sick on the BBC commentators. Yeah, no one can let that lie. Hello, disappointed at the display in the second half against Chesterfield. We move on. Was expected at the end of the day an excellent display against Solihull. Well, that's we've got to look at the positives. This is a young defence. Let's not forget, not all experienced at this level. There's only Magne in there that's played at this level. So, go do that. And Mr. Luke, commentary was awful in my opinion, by Chesterfield. It wasn't great. I mean, I'll hold my hands up. Sometimes I'll have a bad one. It's not often, but sometimes it happens.
Spent more time talking about
birthday parties
and what they should do, what this should do. And you couldn't tell if we were attacking or not.
Well, whoever Poppy is and whoever our birthday it was, I'm glad she had a lovely birthday party, but I don't think we had to hear about it for 5 minutes on the commentary in the middle of the game. So yeah, you might see it being bitter about the defeat, but I want to hear about the game and what's going on, what's being described.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Chesterfield here, they've good side. Look at the way they passed it about, they moved it about, opened us up here. There you go, slotted into the back of the net.
Yeah, it's about budget. I mean, they've got 10 or 11 what I would call probably experienced players who've experienced league football.
Maybe even playing below the level. You can say that about a lot of the teams in this level. But yeah, I mean, look, we've got to wipe our mouths, move forward. We've got the FA Cup on Saturday, and we're going to be talking to Matt about that very, very shortly. Yeah. But, there's positives there. The home form is what's got to be really improved. We've got to pick up points at home.
I don't think we're far away.
I don't.
It's frustrating. I mean, we're not that far away, and I can understand what people are saying about selling Blackett. I can.
We'll get into later on. Yeah,
I'm in that camp with Blackett. I won't personally come on here and have a go at players. No way on God's earth am I going to come here who's better and who's not. I won't. But I was in the Blackett camp. But we are not far away. I think if you add Knight to that team, you get Louis back.
Tinkler
back. I think you've still got a good squad that's more than capable of getting out of that bottom four.
And we've shown
my opinion.
We showed it when we had a stronger squad at the beginning of the season. We played well against Wrexham. They praised us. We had a lot of their fans come on social media and praise us for the way we played. Notts County, we held our own against them. Maybe should have won. But yeah, it's once them players get back, we'll hopefully be at the races.
Even Chesterfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
they said at the end, it weren't the worst side they've seen at Chesterfield this season.
Mm-hmm.
They say if we get a strikeout and don't mess about with at the back as much, we probably will rise out and stay up this season. That was their words, not mine.
Well, fingers crossed. Right, we're going to play a message from our sponsors and how to follow us on social media. And then when we come back, we're going to speak to our guest, Matt, from the Stevenage podcast. And if you've got any messages for him about Stevenage, please do send them in as well. The Heat Army podcast needs your help. No, we don't need money. All we need is you to do one simple thing. It'll take less than a second. If you could hit that like button, the subscribe button, and share whatever post that we put up regarding Gateshead Football Club, it'll go a long way in helping the show build and ultimately helping us push the club to the moon. Now, just before I introduce Matt, that is how you fly a drone, right? Now, if anyone wants to know what about, we will retweet Matt's podcast where I was just on earlier tonight, and you'll find out what that's all about. But Matt, welcome to the Heed Army podcast. It's lovely to speak to you for the second time tonight.
Yeah, look, fellas, thanks for having me on. I say to everyone, when I come onto these platforms, it's so nice to come on and meet really nice people and connect. And I think also it's really nice to kind of come on and speak to people who support a team outside of our league as well, which it's really nice to do it. So, look, thanks for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
It is. I want to say, my mum's trying to ring us on Facebook Messenger. If anyone hearing that in the background. Thanks.
Yeah, they got it for the shopping, mate.
That's where it is. But yeah, no, it is. It's nice to build bridges, and as I say, it's maybe a welcome distraction for us this week after our league form and league table. But the FA Cup, we spoke earlier tonight. It's one of them games where anything can happen. And you asked me a question, and I'm going to put it back to you. About how do you feel when the draw was made? Because obviously we've had tussles in the National League over the years, but not for over 10 years now. But to become back at the Tyneside, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it was. I mean, I think I said on our podcast tonight, we've seemed to have got this revolving wheel at Stevenage where we get the same teams every year in the cups that we played, and they seem to be Peterborough or MK Dons or Ipswich. So we were hoping for a different team this year. When Peterborough and MK Dons were drawn out, we thought, oh no, here we go again. So when we got drawn against it was yourselves were Altrincham at the time. We were over the moon. Different environment for us. Obviously we'd been to your place before in Altrincham, so we know the stadiums, etc., and the sides. But look, we were over the moon with it. I think from the outlook as well, it was a tie that we think's winnable and that we can get through in. So I think with all that in mind, we were over the moon with it. For myself, I was really happy to come up to Newcastle for the weekend and come and see the site. So overall, I'm over the moon that we drew you.
Yeah, you'll definitely see some sights. I'd say also as well, we found out that for Stevenage fans, our East stand has been catfishing people, making out that it's something that it isn't. Matt was quite shocked to find out that there's no roof on the East stand.
Oh, and it's freezing and it's forecast for rain. I'll be waving at you in my nice warm stand.
Oh, do you know what? It broke my heart when I found out there was no roof, because I was thinking, brilliant, we've got a roof. I can get a nice cup of tea, stay warm. And then when David said there's no roof, I thought, oh no, my world come tumbling down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The good thing is, if it's raining, I think when the tea urns are linked to a volcanic spring under the ground. So that at least the rain will cool your coffee or tea down.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, well, if there's no roof, there must be somehow how I can smuggle in an umbrella under my coat or something. I don't think I'll get away with it. But
I don't know if you can. It's a pity. It'd be a good idea. We've got a message come in from one of the listeners, or one of the viewers, should I say. Matt, do you think Stevenage will field a full strength side on Saturday, or will they look to the league being the main priority?
So the one thing about us, and I say this to a lot of teams when I go on podcasts and talk about opposition, we don't have the biggest of squads. So our squad at the minute, we've got a 20-man squad at the minute. And the thing that we have about our team is every single player that is in the 20-man squad is a starting player. So regardless who we play, it will be a really strong side. Knowing what our manager is like, Steve Evans, very professional, understands the cup. I think we will play a fully strong 11. It'll be the team that plays in League Two every week that comes up and plays. So we'll take no chances on Saturday. But if he does play a few players that haven't played a lot over the last 3 weeks, they're all starting League Two players. So it'll be a strong side, yeah.
I forgot Steve Evans was your manager.
Can you remember? I think when he was a Fleetwood manager, he got sent off. And instead of going into the stand, he hid behind the advertising board, but the camera seen him and he kept just putting his head up. And I remember that. That was because I was howling laughing. But I think the reference in the end. But he's a character, isn't he?
Yeah, like I think with Steve, we put it beautifully when we were coming into this season. We think with Steve that when he's your manager, you love him, right? He's your governor, he's your manager. But when he's not your manager and you play against him, you hate him, right? And we've been there in the past where, you know, we used to hate Steve Evans. We used to hate him. We used to sing awful songs about his way, and I still remember it to this day. But now that he's our manager and he's done such a good job that he's done with us after the appalling 4 years we've had as a club.
See the way now, do you?
Oh yeah, we love him. He's our guy. He's literally. Do you know? He's like, how could it be? He's like a father to all of us at Stevenage. He really is. He's that figure.
I think we had that type of effect with Gary Mills, didn't we? He just engulfed the club and everyone bought into him as well. So yeah, and we've got from club photographer Charles Woff. He's put, if it's raining, I'll get very wet. Thanks, Mickey. I blame you.
Good.
We've got another question here from Ginger Joe. He's put, how many coaches are coming up?
So we've just got the one coach coming up. But as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure it's fully booked. So I know that is about a 50-seater. So there's an extra 50 of us coming up. It's a bit of a frustrating one, really, because there's train strikes. So I know for a fact that if the train strikes were running, we'd probably bring up a lot more because it's a really good train line from Stevenage to Newcastle. So with that in effect, that's a bit of a stinker. There might not be as many fans going as we'd like, but I think there's a few of us that are staying up there in the city. So I think overall, I know that there's one coach. If I had to put money on it, I reckon we'll have around 200 probably make the trip. Not many.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll make a noise on the far side and we can get a cup atmosphere going. But obviously you can share our commentary for those that aren't travelling. It's not biased, by the way. It's not like Chesterfield or Fleetwood. So I could rattle a few off. But yeah, definitely. We've got one here. Matt, want to say your manager is incredible. The way he's took your team from 22nd and 18th to being second in the table this season. Fair play. Well, has there been a big turnaround in players, or is it a case of him getting the best out of the players that you already had?
No, so it was a humongous turnaround, basically. So it was, again, we have had just a crazy 4 years. I still can't believe the things that have happened at the club. We got relegated, we got a reprieve, we were kept up. We had COVID last year, we nearly got relegated. Steve actually came in with about 9 games left to go, and we were really in the mess. And I think when we stayed up, and we stayed up quite comfortably in the end, we were about 12 points clear of Oldham by the time the last game of the season played. And I think when we went into the summer, we were at a bit of a crossroads. League Two football's getting better every year. It's like League One now almost. And we said, we've got to make some big changes, because if we don't, we're going to get relegated. And the statistics normally say in League Two that if you flirt with those relegation places for a good few years, you eventually end up going. Yeah. So going into the summer, we knew that we had to get rid of pretty much the whole of that team. We kept about 6 or 7 players that are good enough for the level, and actually some of those players could probably play League One. So we kept a minority, but yeah, it was a massive overhaul, and Steve's done brilliant. I mean, some of the players that he brought to the club, he brought a couple of lads that were promoted to League One last year. Dan Sweeney, for example, and he brought in Danny Rose, who was playing for Northampton and on the cusp of League One football. And he's done a brilliant job, Steve. And yeah, look, we went from 22nd to second. It's been crazy. It feels just surreal at the minute. It's almost like we're living in dreamland supporting Stevenage, and it's just so nice. I go every single game. I don't miss a single game here. I go every single game watching Stevenage, and it's so nice this season to go to watch them just win football matches, fellas. Literally, it's just winning football matches.
Last year it was just unreal, wasn't it? Just to you're going into the game where you've got a fantastic chance of winning. Like, if you play your game, you're going to win. And it's nice, isn't it, when it happens? It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's special. Savor it.
Well, how many times has a good piss up been ruined by 90 minutes of football?
Oh, And do you know what? Do you know what as well, fellas? So there's a little thing that me and my friends do, and we'll do this for the years going and the future, and we've done it recently, is whenever Stevenage play and we get our fixture list, we book up loads of city weekends. So Stevenage play Walsall, we book Birmingham or Stockport, Manchester, or for example, yourselves, Newcastle. And we had this running joke where over the last 4 years, I think prior to this season, we'd had about 7 city weekends and we saw 1 win. Pretty much, right? No, honestly.
Been there, done that.
Oh, honestly. And this season, we've had about 5 and we've won all of them. And it's like the piss-up's been absolutely incredible just from the team winning. Honestly, it's been so nice for a change.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that it's going to come to an end on Saturday. But
I'm not so certain. We'll see. It's going to be a tough game, I think.
Mr. Luke,
I can't have a... Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
Well,
Mr.
the question
Luke, played Newcastle and Mike Williamson scored an own goal in that one. So, yeah, it's there's a bit of history. It's a marked history between the clubs. So there's a few links that were mentioned on your podcast, of course, Paul Thompson, Paul Farman. I'm sure there's a few others that have slipped through the net that have played for both sides. But, it's I always remember, I said this to Matt earlier on, when Stevenage had their famous FA Cup run in '97, when Grazioli got injured and we were all singing "You're Not Playing on Tuesday" in the replay. But yeah, no, it's funny how sometimes these ties come around and you get flooded with memories of yesteryear.
Well, you're talking about Paul Thompson, most clumsiest footballer ever.
Yeah.
Can you remember Queen of the South when he broke his nose? He broke his nose and it was pointing towards his eye. That's how broke it was. And they took him off, and you had to step down into the dugout at Queen of the South. So he stepped down, and Gates had got to go back to make it 2-1, and he stood up to celebrate and crashed his head off the corner of the bench and just crumpled in a heap.
I'll tell you another story of Paul Thompson. He had a thigh strain, like right up to the buttock, and he was getting a massage on the bus going to an away game to see if be able to play, and obviously just had his underpants on, and they were near the kettle on the bus, like the heater, and the bus. He stood up after getting the massage on the seat, and the bus jerked and burnt his arse on the kettle.
Oh dear me!
But you can't have a Stevenage fan on without asking about Wesley.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't think you were going to ask me about him. Oddly, I'm surprised you have.
Yeah.
I
mean, I listened on to the Kosh podcasts. I don't know if you listen to them. And the amount of players that come out and say that man is totally bizarre is unreal.
Yeah. Do you know what? Steve Evans actually told a really good story about Wesley at the start of the season. In the pre-season, he did like a fans Q&A after I think we beat West Brom at home, and it was hilarious. Someone made a comment about Wesley, because obviously Wesley used to call himself medal winner with all the stuff he did with us, and Steve Evans told this story because Evans doesn't like Wesley, and they never they always clashed heads at games whenever we played at Steve Evans' teams. And he told a story about Wesley once where Wesley actually invited Steve to a dinner in London, and Steve was, I think he was I can't remember where he was living at the time. It was up north. And he said he went to this dinner with Wesley, and they always clashed heads at games. So he thought it was quite weird, but he said that he went with his wife, and he took his wife, and they went into London and they met Wesley, and it was all going really nice. And then at the end of the dinner, he said something about Wesley just left him with the bill. And just walked out, left Steve with the bill, and Steve ended up paying with his wife. And he is a very odd character, Wesley. And look, he did wonderful things for us. He got us the promotions, and there's something that a lot of people forget about actually with Wesley, because when they talk about Wesley with our tenure, they actually forget. So Wesley came back. He came back a couple of times after the success we had with him, but he came back 3 years ago when we had the reprieve, when we actually got relegated and kept up. And he eventually got fired after like 3 months. I'm pretty sure any manager would have got fired looking after that team. And actually, we worked out that when we got the reprieve and got kept up, he was manager when we beat Cambridge away 4-0. And it was about January time, and he got fired about 3 weeks later. And we worked out that if we wouldn't have won against Cambridge that day, no, regardless of the situation with Macclesfield, we would have gone down. So we started saying again, not only did he get us the promotions, he actually kept us up in the long run as well. So yeah, he's a character, Graham. But yeah, look, we've got another one now with Mr. Evans. So they seem to keep coming to our club.
Yeah, there's some characters
just
in the
a
game.
magnet for idiots.
Well, hopefully we don't have to speak to Mr. Evans on Saturday. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Say, I mean, how good was he on your podcast? Let's be honest, Matt.
Well, I mean, there is that. I mean, to be fair, do you mean Steve when you say?
Oh, I'm on about Davey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about Steve then. I was thinking, do you know, we haven't actually had him on. No, do you know what? David was great, and I did put those questions to him that you DM'd us earlier, and I'm pretty sure he was a little bit shocked at them. I'd say.
I was a bit.
Make sure you tag us in the post when the podcast's out, please. I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was? They were great, but I was really looking forward to the John Oster one, because when you messaged me and said, watch his eyes light up, and when I asked him, I looked at the screen and all I saw him do was he went, ooh, like that. And it was
TikTok filter, those hearts coming out my eyes and everything. So.
Now we mentioned 2014, and he just melts into a little John Oster puddle.
That man. But yeah,
What time you're setting off Friday then?
So I'm going. We're coming up 11 tomorrow. We're travelling up. We're staying in Jesmond.
Oh, how posh are you?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, we're staying a little hotel in Jesmond, and then we're staying. Actually, I'm going to tell you a funny little thing that I'm doing actually. But we're staying Friday night, and then we're watching Stevenage play, and then we're actually going to the fireworks. Is it Saltwell Park?
Yeah,
that's just along the road from me.
Oh, there you go. We're going there for fireworks, but there's a little funny thing actually. So I love my running. I run every day, and I run marathons, and so coming up to Newcastle, I said to my partner, I said, I need to find a running route in Newcastle. You know, I'm going to run Saturday and Sunday morning. Now, I knew that there's an athletics track around your pitch.
Yeah.
So I contacted the stadium and the people at your ground and said, look, is the athletics track open in the morning on Saturday and Sunday for me to run around possibly before the game? And I said I was a Stevenage fan, and they laughed and they said it actually is. It closes at 11 on the day of the game. Oh. So I'm going to go to the athletics track, do my running around the pitch before the game, go back, get ready, and then come back again, basically.
No.
There we go.
Dave will have to buy BB guns and sit in the stand.
Put me out for good.
Yeah.
See if how quick we can make them run.
Yeah.
my partner was going to me. She was going, yeah, how about you quickly run on the pitch quickly and get a cheeky picture in front of the goal or something? So if there's no one about, I might, construe it a little bit. But
so if there's a dodgy bobble, we know who to blame.
Spray, that'd have me out.
Yeah, but oh man, but actually we've got a message here from somebody. But there we go. His first Heed away game was 5-3 Stevenage. Darryl Clare scored twice, autumn 2009. So there we go. There's a name from the past, Darryl Clare.
I was down there. We got beat 3-1 when Barry Hales and Corey Brown were there, and then there was a 6-1. That was a wonderful day.
Do you know what? Actually, I remember some of those games. I remember the 5-3. I remember the one where I think we came up to yours and we just won the league, and I think we won 1-0. I think it was a Tuesday night. I think it was a Tuesday night. It would have been about April time. right at the end of the season. I think that was the last game that we played against each other. Actually,
possibly will be.
She's had some good players. Barry Hales was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, Barry Hales was really good. And Corey Brown as well. We actually back in May at the end of last season, we used to have a player at the club. Unfortunately, passed away. It was called Martin Gittings. He's the club record goal scorer, and we played in a charity game at our stadium at the Lamex, and I was fortunate enough to play. It was my first time playing at Stevenage. Anyone that knows me knows I'm Mr. Stevenage. I'm literally mad about the football club. So playing at the club was great, and then I eventually ended up scoring in the game, and I had tears flooded down my face because I just scored at the club. Honestly, it was one of the best moments. And Barry Hales and Corey Brown played in the game, and they played against us, and it was shocking how good and fit they still were at the age. It was one of the lads back there who was similar to myself, runs a lot, and he marked Corey Brown, and it was incredible. It was like watching a player who still plays professional football. It was crazy how good they still were then too.
They just find the space, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, here you could join them for a jog. Do you not think?
Oh, me? Someone to sit on after he's finished. I'm built for comfort, not speed.
I'm sure you've got a fast one in you, Mickey. So,
if you're sitting in there with a BB gun, I'll probably have to run quicker.
But Matt, I know you put me on the spot for a prediction for Saturday. What you think is going to happen in the FA Cup tie?
Do you know what? I think it'll actually be a tricky game. Actually, again, anyone knows me knows I'm the most positive Stevenage fan ever. So every game we play, it's always a win, pretty much. But I think it'll be a really, really, really tough game. Actually, I think for large parts of the game, it'll be a typical FA Cup game. I think it'll be really tight and really competitive. But I can see us getting a 2-0 win, maybe an early goal. The rest of the game's 1-0, very close, very tight, and then possibly we'll nick a goal at the end. We score a lot of last-minute goals this season. It's been crazy. Yeah. We what was it? We scored against Walsall in like the 100th minute to nick a draw this season. We've had so many last minute goals. So yeah, I'm going 2-0. I think we'll play a full team. I think it'll be a really tough game. But yeah, I'm going 2-0 to us.
Oh, well, hopefully not. But the most important thing is I hope you have a lovely trip up, and we say it.
Have a great weekend, mate.
Have a great weekend, and
you will love the tune.
Season just not on Saturday.
Oh, well, regardless, I'm certainly going to be having quite a few beers. I'll probably be hanging on Saturday. You never know. Actually, that 6 story might actually be me in the away end on Saturday, so I can't promise anything.
We've mentioned the 6 story a lot. We are going to be playing it as soon as Matt leaves us. So we're putting that up very shortly. And just listen to me saying he's going down in installments, and look at the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see the splatters. It's Matt, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll retweet your show out once it goes up, and say get along, have a listen to that, and say nice to build bridges.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guys, look, thanks for having me on. It's been absolute pleasure, and yeah, look, good luck for the rest of the season and Saturday, and yeah, it's been nice to meet you both and to connect up. So no, thanks for having me on.
Cheers.
See you for the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you for the replay.
The thing there might not be a replay.
Really?
The rules are, that there's no replays because of fixture congestion later in the season with FA Cup, the World Cup, and Europa League and all that type of thing. So I don't know if that's later on the competition or early on, but either way, there might not be a replay, but we'll find out before the game, I'm sure. But anyway, Matt, thank you, and we'll see you. Hopefully we might see you again in the future.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks for stitching them up. Loved it.
Any day of the week, it was my duty to do it. When you sent me the DM, I was like, right, let's get him on the platform. So
horrible.
Much appreciated, mate. Have a great weekend.
Cheers,
guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Take care, bud.
There we go. That was Matt. Absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, if you were listening to the commentary, or you might have seen on social media, so look to the right hand side of the screen when I say it goes down in installments, and you'll see the splatters.
There's Corker crosses the ball in, headed clear. Ward plays the
does
ball
well.
over the top, looking for the run of Martin, but Kelleher's there and plays it back to Boot.
It seems like every time the ball comes in the box, we're seeing brilliant from Pye or brilliant from Richardson. Them two be monumental today at the back. And Magnate.
Well,
no,
as Dallas. Oh, well, he went down in installments there.
He's grabbed, Ward pressed him and he's just grabbed him and went down.
Well, it's a dangerous free kick here and an opportunity for them to get people into the box. And, well, Coker stands over the ball, left-footed. Oh, I thought I could smell sick. Someone's just been sick out down next to us. Oh no, Coker. Oh, as the ball comes over the top. Goodgel was up there, but it's been headed clear only as far as Barnett on the edge of the box. Puts it back into the mixer, but I'm glad that didn't come over the top there. That's stinking. Oh, you'll never want to come back and do commentary again, will you?
I'll be honest, Dave, I'm gagging, yeah, like, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, my word. Oh. Oh, nah. Oh. Oh, move along a little bit. Yeah, we're having to move along. Just the smell of sick is quite overpowering. As well,
good pressure again from Ward.
Yeah,
backed up by Campbell.
Yeah. Well, nice stuff from Kenton Richardson to get the ball right. Oh, it just pings off Magny out for a throw.
Lads need to dig in here. Richardson's running on empties.
Well, there you go. Mickey's had to leave for that, but it was very unfortunate. We hope the little boy's all right. That was, but it was very comical at the time. Someone's put, is that Phil Mitchell in hoodie? That was they're looking over. He wasn't too impressed. Taylor Howie's put nice bloke about Matt. He was fantastic having on there. We've got Mason Ford has put looking forward to the weekend. Proper lift and that, like it was just thankfully it didn't come over the top of the commentary position, and hoping for a hopefully decent crowd on Saturday. That's what we want. So remember, tell your friends, get down. And someone's put, was there carrots in it? Really, I don't know if people wanted a running form of how it was dripping down the stairs, but yeah, it was. Let's say the kid had enjoyed he must have had a pre-Halloween treat because there was quite a few sweets in that. But yeah, on that note, it was absolutely lovely. Right, of course, Stevenage on the FA Cup on the weekend. So if you want to get your predictions in, send them now. But of course, news broke as well Tuesday evening about Paul Blackett joining Spennymoor for an undisclosed fee. Of course, Paul started all right the season, scored a few goals, and he's moved to pastures new. Obviously, a bid has been accepted, and we wish Paul all the best going to Spennymoor, of course. So he was a lovely lad. Had him on the podcast. Couldn't praise the lad enough for the way he was as a person and as a player. So you know that goes without saying, but a lot of people disappointed that we've lost a goal scorer, especially when we're maybe finding it caught in front of goal at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that. I'm in the Blackett should stay camp. I don't mind seeing it. If he had to be sold, couldn't we not have waited an extra week and get this one out the way? Until we're guaranteed Lewis Knight's fit, sorry. Just my opinion. I'm not having to go at the management or the club for selling them. I genuinely like the lad as a footballer. I genuinely like the lad as a person as well. Disappointed to see him go. Of course I am. You're putting maybe it's unnecessary pressure on Lewis Knight to get fit quick. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that obviously that we start finding the back of the net soon. But if anyone's got any messages for Paul, who knows, he might tune in. Any messages to put out there to him would be nice. Even gents, hard-earned point against Solihull. Shame about the Chesterfield. However, Montgomery played very, very well. Very well. Made some good saves. Disappointing news about Blackett, but best of luck to him in the future. Of course, we echo those sentiments.
Yeah.
But, just going back to the Solihull game, they were a fantastic side. They were really good. They were played very similar to us. They built up from the back very well. They passed the ball with ease. They found space. They fortunate with the goal when the ball was dropped and Goodjoe was able to just turn and place it in the back of the net. Yes, they hit the woodwork a few times, but people can hit the woodwork all day. It's not in the back of the net. You can say it's a half chance. It isn't though, is it? You know what I mean?
It's not, but you generally call yourself unlucky if you've hit both posts in the bar.
True. I'm looking for positives here.
I know.
But yeah, I would say, we've got to look at the positives from that game, and for me, home form is key. We need to perform in front of the home fans, get results. If we get a result on the road, it's a bonus. Look, we said at the beginning of the season, yes, broken record, survival is key. Hook or by crook. If we could stay all season outside the relegation zone, then fantastic. If we've got to claw ourselves out of it, fantastic. The end game is where it's at. And at the end of the day, the club has moved so far forward so quickly. And I know there's sarcastic people going, well, at least we've got a club, when going about results, because they feel like they can't comment or, whatever. But let's just look at the bigger picture, man. Look, it's hard.
Look, if you look at the big picture, we could have had to start this club in step 9.
Yep.
But with all the weird COVID cancelled seasons, we'd be lucky if we were in Northern League Division 2.
Yeah. And, look, we all knew it was going to be a hard season, and we have had our fair share, maybe our overshare of injuries. Even said it with Owen Bailey on the commentary on Saturday. He said, never known anything like it. It's just been unreal. Hopefully football levels itself out, whether it's free kicks and penalties in games or injuries. We'll kind of you can't imagine the season continuing like this, the sheer amount of injuries. The law of averages says has to calm down. Once it does, say we've seen the results when Kenton Richardson got back, we looked a lot stronger at the back. Ethan Pye had a great game on Saturday, obviously man of the match performance. He was selected, but there could have been a few players in that team that day. I thought Magnier was magnificent at right back. He's not the most agile player in the world, but he did fantastic out there. Didn't look out of place.
Tell you who else had a good game? Hassani.
Yeah, Hassani looked good. Dan Ward, he just never lets you down. So yeah, but the positives are there. You got to look at them. And Mike was honest. They've got to find the answers to the solution. They've got to find. They've got to work it and build themselves around it. Remember, the season before last. The season was ended. We had a full 6 months for that team to train together and work on what they were going to do as a unit. This is a team, half of the team now is more or less new, and it takes time to build that and put it all in, and then add injuries into the mix.
Especially when you're stepping up a level.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just so many moving parts to a football team for the to keep the equilibrium in the side. And I know that they had a team bonding last night. Seen a few posts on social media. Look like the lads are enjoying themselves. So hopefully spirits are high and carry that into Saturday. It was a good game. Aaron Martin had a few chances on another day. You may have would have taken them. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. There was a 10-minute spell. I thought Yusuf. I thought that was his best performance on Saturday against Solihull. I can't comment on the Chesterfield one because the commentary wasn't that much in detail. But when we had Campbell and Martin and Yusuf up there, we looked dangerous on the break on a couple of occasions before Yusuf come off. So you hope that chemistry can build. And as we've mentioned before, Lewis Knight, hopefully not too far away as well. And we haven't seen him yet. We know he's rapid. He's got a lot of pace. And hopefully that'll bring another dynamic to the forward line. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and we've took a step up, and there's a lot of change. There's a lot of change.
I don't totally agree with some of them, but Mike's the manager at the end of the day. I mean, if it was up to me, Tom Allen would be back. personally, Tom Allen will be back.
Well,
but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the background. I don't know what the deal is.
Well, it was initially a 28-day loan, so hopefully he could be coming back soon. Same with Elliot Forbes. Hopefully he's got some game time. Cow Dailies put spot on, lads. A timely reminder of we could be in step 9. Could have started at step 9. And we all in the National League would have snapped your hands off for this during the Cala era. Certainly was. We've got a question here. There's a question. Will attendance improve during the World Cup or will it stay the same? Look,
depends.
Depends.
If England's playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, it's going to affect our attendances.
I did see a post about some National League games going to be moved to 12:30. I don't know if we're involved in those ones, but you would hope common sense would do that so the little clubs can still have and maybe make money with their own clubhouses and have the game on. But you know what people say for the World Cup, they would either go to fan parks as these is what they've had in the summer things, but this is winter. I can't see many people apart from a few idiots want to sit out in the Centre for Life car park and watch the match on a screen in the cold. You would just hope that the floating Newcastle fans and Sunderland fans and floating fans around the northeast will want to take in live football rather than this charade of a World Cup in a country that doesn't treat people right. So that's the way to think about it, really.
To be honest, there's probably an opportunity there for the football club.
Hopefully, I mean,
if the England game's on, kick off early and keep the bar up and make a few quid.
That would be the perfect way to do it, wouldn't it?
You would think so.
Yeah, but I'm sure things will come out in the future about that. We've got here, World Cup doesn't affect me, says Taylor Howie. Doesn't affect me. I'm not that bothered either, to be honest. I
like the big. I must admit, I do like the big tournaments.
Euro '96 broke my heart. I was never the same after. I was always let down by the nation. We've got a message here. We'll quickly go on into this. The ladies. Any updates on the ladies, Mickey? We're going to get into this.
Yes, and I forgot who they played on the weekend. Kieran, if you're listening, let us know. Spennymoor away on Sunday. That's where we are. The lasses got beat 3-1 on Sunday. Good Stockton and Norton agent side. Final ball just didn't run forward, and their 2 centre-halves were excellent. We added a player from Gateshead Rutherford, a lass called Christine, but she gets named Crid. And from what I've seen on Sunday, Crid is going to be a massive addition to the Gateshead ladies. Really good player.
Watch this space. We'll be talking more about her in the coming weeks.
Very good. She had a fantastic debut. Was two or three. Dion was up there in the nominations. Hannah, but Crid took the man of the match, and I believe Libby West has come back from and signed for the club from Gateshead. Wow. So Libby is a cracking little player, absolutely belting little player. Obviously, with all the situation in the summer, where was it going to happen, was it not? Libby decided to find herself a club rather than waiting. She's went away, she's come back, and apparently she trained with the lasses on Tuesday. And believe me, she is one talent. What a talent she is.
Look at that. So, there's our man Mickey in the trenches. He's better than any Fleet Street journalist. He's got all the info.
Well, she was there on Sunday. I was talking to our mum and dad, and I was hoping she'd be signing. But nothing was sorted then. I think she was just come down on a watching brief. And I'm not going to lie, I tried to get her to come in. Well, it wasn't up to me.
And it was good to watch the ladies on Sunday.
Yeah, it was lovely to meet Liv and her husband the other day. and we still played well, to be fair.
Well, look, it's still early days. Still early days. Yeah. New management in there, new players coming in. A bit like, we've got to get them to bed in, but they've picked up points, and they've climbed the table. So
considering they had no pre-season, Davey.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Whatsoever, and they're doing excellent, absolutely fabulous. A lot of them.
Fantastic. Well, we may try and do a show on a Wednesday night so we can get them on, because obviously the train on Tuesday and Thursday. Sam Pelton's put, I think Adam Campbell did well on Saturday every game. Can't fault his work rate. Absolutely fantastic.
Adam Campbell's been outstanding all season.
He's becoming the new John Oster.
He's a bit like Adam and Tinks are basically in the same boat. They're roughly about a 7 out of 10 every game. And you just seem to look past them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
unreal. You know what you're going to get from them, don't you? We've got an update on the 12:30 kickoff. Our home game against Aldershot on December the 3rd has been moved to a 12:30. Like all games, England or Wales could play at 3 o'clock that day. So there we go. Obviously, I think they haven't made the draws, have they yet, for the fixtures?
I don't think so.
And so we'll find out that soon. But let's hope Gateshead can benefit, and also as well, let's hope some clubs benefit from having games in daylight where they don't have to switch the floodlights on in this time and age. So hopefully that'll help the littler clubs, even some of the big ones, I bet. It's crazy. Right, we've only got about 10 minutes left, or 8 actually. So if you want to send in your predictions for Saturday, please do. Any other thoughts and views on Paul Blackett leaving, send them in, or messages for Paul. I'm sure you'll find out, or maybe even watch to see what's been said. Say from us at the Heat Army podcast, I know we had a bit of fun over that penalty that he missed when we made a daft advert, but it was all out of love. We just need him to, hopefully kick on. You never know, we might see him back in the Gateshead shirt one day. So we've got
best of luck, Black. Really good. For me, I like him, and I can only wish him the best of luck.
Same here. Charles Wasp put Watford like.
Good comment, John.
Sam Pelton's put 2-1 to Stevenage. So there, I think Liv put 3-1 earlier on. Yes, she did. There we go. I don't know if it's just a score line or to who, but you can send yours in. So please do. Also, as well, please do like and subscribe. I know I say it every show, but it really does help. And also like the video as well. That really goes a long way. Whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, send just to help us reach more people. And we really are. The viewing figures have been good this year, and that's what it's all about. We just want to reach more people, have more people interact with us. And the likes of Liv Walden, she's a relatively new viewer in the last year and interacts a lot. So does her husband Darren, and that's what we like to see, and we want to reach out and get more Liv.
It was lovely to beat them on Sunday.
A lovely couple. 3-1 to Gateshead. Why not? Says Taylor Howie. So there we go.
2-1. I don't know where I get it from, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Gateshead.
I'm going to go 2-2 on 90 minutes. I think we'll score, but I think they'll be a very good side. Of course, they are where they are for a reason.
Aye. And how long before Steve Evans and Noise were out? What minute?
Oh. Who knows? We've got nothing to fear. Well, it's true. We've got nothing to lose in this game, apart from injuries. We've got nothing to fear. We gave both Charlton and Oldham good games at the stadium in the last few seasons. There's always FA Cup upsets. We can create one. Well, fingers crossed. And Charles has went 1-0 to Gateshead. So
I don't think the Nerves could take a 1-0. Like.
We'll probably all look to score in 60 seconds and then have to wait the next 89 minutes of pure torture. But hey, look, anything can happen. It's the magic of the cup. That's what it's all about. And if we're fortunate to get through, let's hope the club can build on it. If we don't, take it on the chin. Doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. League form's where it's at. But hey, we can dream, can't we? We're a small club, and if we can get through, that would be great. And Kieran James has put 2-0 to Gateshead. And hopefully Kieran can let us know who Gateshead ladies are playing at the weekend as well.
Spennymoor away, I said.
Spennymoor away. Again?
Yeah. Yeah, the last time was in the cup.
Ah, right. We've got another prediction. Ginger Joe, he's put 1-1. So lots of predictions coming in. So please do that. And yeah, thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you to Matt as well. We will be retweeting his podcast where Mickey stitched me up with a couple of questions, and I wasn't too impressed.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the first one. I believe it's audio only, thankfully. Yeah.
I didn't mean it nastily though, Dave.
When I speak the off air, it will be nasty. Come on, Mickey. On that note, we'll end on a high of Mickey lauding that he got us on someone else's podcast. Thank you to everyone that's messaged. Remember, if you can't make it to the game, we will bring in you full match commentary against Gateshead versus Stevenage in the FA Cup. It will sound like we're in a room because we will be. Say we're not bitter, not bitter at all. But look, the club makes money from the BBC and Final Score being there, and that is the most important thing. So say if you can't make it, if you're on holiday, if you live abroad, tune into us. We'll bring you it all. And Mickey, as ever, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Can you kindly reveal the tweet you sent me after you'd done the podcast?
Nope, you can't. I'll tell you one thing. It started with a T and it ended with a T. So there we go.